Hey, Crystal.
Hi.
Hi. So, how far are you into your first paradigm shift?
I feel like I'm kind of like jumping in and jumping out. I do feel like I have one foot dipped in and one foot sometimes dipped out.
Yep.
Um,
How long have you been at this, though? Couple
oh,
weeks?
yeah, just a couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell me about your life 2 weeks ago.
Oh. So 2 weeks ago I was off work, making it my new job to go to all these appointments to make myself better. After 4 weeks, I'm like, what is going on? There's like not much is giving. And then it's like, okay, this mind body connection, I need to dive into this a little bit more than what I have been. I've been dabbling, but not jumping in wholeheartedly. So for whatever reason, and I'm getting chills right now, connections kind of drew me to your content. You spoke on burnout. It spoke to me that day. Reached out to another friend who I saw on your app, who I just saw 2 weeks ago. Strangely, hadn't seen her in 10 years. So I'm like, okay, this is all feeling very cosmic or like divine timing. And then booked some calls with you, canceled some calls with you. And then you invited me to show up as I was, which I did. And it was messy at first, but once I allowed myself to kind of sit in what I really needed, even if my partner didn't believe in it,
Mhm.
then I was like, okay. And within a week, I started to notice softening in my body. My neck was suddenly being free to have some range of motion. Like it felt right. And then a week in, I was feeling so good about my content, but my partner wasn't asking questions, which kind of felt a bit offensive to me, which then led us to have another conversation, which went well, but still he wasn't really in an area of support that I really wanted him to be.
Mhm.
But then I was like, but that's okay because he doesn't understand. That's his level of awareness. And the old Crystal would have been like, he doesn't believe in me. He doesn't believe in this, like abort mission. Um, and I remember going to bed that night and being like, okay, you let people dictate your vibration. You've always done that. I'm an empath, so I feel everything. And no wonder why I'm so exhausted because I've just been letting people dictate how I'm supposed to feel.
Mhm.
And so I woke up the next day and I was like, still a little bit sad but that's okay. But
Yep.
had great conversations in our study group and which again felt cosmic almost. Like conversations are just happening where they need to happen.
Yep.
And I'm being drawn to people that I'm just meant to be drawn to. And
Yep.
so yeah, he doesn't understand, but that's okay.
So, what has happened? Because you just mentioned your son said something to you last night. What did he
Hmm.
say?
At the dinner table, he was like, you're like seeing your friends again and you're out doing things. Like you haven't.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's nice when you have energy to actually do those things. Like I never thought that once I started to show up for myself, that I would have the energy to start doing the things that I love to do or like I was in the grind and it was almost like I was accepting the fact that okay, I have to work and if my job is hard or I'm having difficult days, I guess then I just have to recover. And that's all that life is going to be. It was just my job. And
Yep.
and how it either sucked the life out of me or like so I don't know where it happened, but I just was like, this isn't what I want. Like I have the family that I want and I don't have the energy to be with my family right now.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
was strictly in recovery mode and yeah. And
Yeah.
then allowed myself to go off work, which was a whole process in itself. Like I was
That's
just
right.
fighting everything
That's
the
right.
universe was sending, good, bad, and the other. So
So you're noticing now changes in your health
mhm,
already,
mhm,
changes in your relationships
mhm,
already,
mhm,
and it's stemming from you building your relationship with you again.
Mhm.
So what has, tell me, you mentioned study club. What's study
Mhm.
club done?
It's made me accountable.
Mhm.
It's it's an appointment I really don't wanna miss. Um, the 9 o'clock group too, for whatever reason, feels like suits my life right now. It won't when I go back to work, it'll have to change, but I feel like there's a reason why I'm in even the 9 o'clock group as opposed to any other group to start. Um, yeah, it's like I wake up still pretty exhausted, but that's okay. But I have the mentality that like I get to work on myself. Like I have an hour
That's
and a
right.
half carved out for me that's
Mhm.
setting the intention of my day,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yep.
even today after our session, we had really good dialogue. The coach had really good webinar dialogue, which I listened to after, and then it forced me into action about something I had been just thinking about. I bought a program like probably 2 months ago. Will it help my journey to get back to work? But was I doing it? No. And so today it was like, yeah, this is your new, you don't need to go to all these appointments.
Yeah,
Just you know what you need to do.
that's right. And you were
So
built with everything
yeah,
that you need. That's amazing. I
yeah.
love it.
hmm
So what do you know about yourself already? Because I mean, you're 2 weeks in to like honestly, Crystal, like I could
I
tell you
know.
in 5 months from now, you're gonna need a telescope to look back on how
hmm
far you've come.
hmm
But 2 weeks in, if if you can feel yourself getting stuck, what do you say to yourself?
I would say that it's my paradigm coming in, wants me to be comfortable, and just that I'm kind of driving the ship now. And it's okay. Like I talk to her quite a bit,
Yep.
and she served a purpose, my
Yep.
Patty. Um, and she's still loud and clear a lot of times.
Mhm.
But I am tired of making decisions in fear
Yep.
and either diluting myself or just not showing up the way I want to show up.
Yep.
Yes. And
I
I
love
and
it.
I, now I can tell like I'm standing in confidence more with like, oh my gosh, I was given the opportunity to do this job. Like it is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
I'm not showing up the way authentically that will boost my energy and then some, right? So
That's right.
I've been I'm reading your book right now and I feel like you and I feel
Mhm.
like I'm walking your path kind of right now,
Yep.
which feels comforting.
Yep.
Um, but you were just talking in your book about the perfectionism that you were trying to show up and feel like it's exhausting, like that I'm
It
trying to
is.
control the narrative and I'm not in control.
Right.
So I'm just working against, yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to believe, which is going to be the next session that I dive into. So
Yeah.
yeah, and trusting that what is meant to happen will happen and that I mistakes are not the be all end all of failure, that they're just kind
Nope.
of like a point to pivot or which I have never looked at it like that. I've
Yep.
always been so afraid to like not succeed or not move forward in a way that I'm supposed to or yeah.
Yep. I love
hmm
that.
hmm
So